Think QLED versus OLED is just about picture quality? At Best Buy, there is a hidden reason you are steered toward QLED, a secret. In 2017, Samsung slapped a sci-fi label on basic LED TV models, and suddenly they became the store's cash machine. Most shoppers never realize why that matters, until the receipt is signed. Beneath the branding, there is a secret incentive pipeline and a psychological play designed to empty your wallet. An incentive that lines pockets. So what exactly is Best Buy's secret, and how do you avoid being fooled? Samsung's marketing department didn't just brainstorm a new TV in 2017, they cooked up a new label. Overnight, SUHD vanished and QLED took its place. The old LED-LCD technology got a fresh coat of quantum dot paint, and thanks to that shiny new Q, suddenly sounded like something out of a sci-fi movie. The trick? Most shoppers had no clue what the Q actually meant. It didn't stand for quantum leap in display technology. It meant quantum dots. Tiny particles added to the same old LED backlight. Not a revolution, just a remix. Behind the scenes, Samsung's branding team treated this rename like a secret weapon. Internal meetings focused on making QLED the word on everyone's lips. Not because it changed the TV world, but because it changed the sales game. The new name was designed to echo OLED, the true next-gen technology with self-lit pixels and perfect blacks. But QLED kept the backlight, kept the old structure, and just added a layer of color-boosting magic. For Best Buy and other retailers, this was a marketing jackpot. The Q made it sound like a direct rival to OLED, even though the two share as much in common as a sports car and a sport coat. Sales floors filled up with QLED banners, demo videos, and buzzwords, all designed to make shoppers feel like they were on the cutting edge. It is no accident that QLED became the headline act right as OLED started gaining traction with reviewers and tech enthusiasts. The real genius of the rebrand, it shifted attention from what was inside the TV to what was printed on the box. Shoppers walked away thinking they'd bought tomorrow's technology, when in reality they'd picked up yesterday's LED in a new costume. And every time someone chose a QLED over an OLED, the people behind the label swap had reason to celebrate. The next layer of this story, it is all about the money. Best Buy's love affair with QLED has nothing to do with shiny banners or catchy acronyms. It's about cold, hard cash. Every time the letter Q glows on a showroom wall, a bigger profit margin lights up behind the scenes. Here is how the numbers stack up. QLED TVs cost less to make but get premium price tags, so the gap between what the store pays and what you pay is wide enough to drive a Geek Squad van through. That gap is pure profit. Manufacturers like Samsung and TCL hand out market development funds. These are basically bonus checks for the store tied to how many QLEDs they move and how much shelf space they dedicate. The more QLEDs that fill the floor, the more Best Buy rakes in. It is not just a little extra either. Former employees say market development funds can run into millions every year, and they directly influence what gets the best spot in the store. Then there are spiffs, a retail word that sounds like a cartoon sidekick but means real cash for the sales team. Sell a QLED, and that is an extra bonus on the next paycheck. Hit your QLED quota for the month, and there is a gift card, or maybe a shot at a weekend getaway. One former Best Buy manager put it bluntly, "We were told to start every premium TV pitch with QLED and warn customers about permanent burn-in on OLED. Bonuses were tied to Samsung and TCL numbers, not LG." So when you walk into Best Buy and see a wall of QLEDs front and center, remember, it is not just about what looks brightest. It is about what pays the brightest. The label on the box is only half the story. The real action is in the margin math, the incentive checks, and the quiet handshake between the sales floor and the back office. That is why QLED gets the push, even when the tech inside is not the real star of the show. Picture this. You are standing in Best Buy, eyes glazed from a wall of glowing screens, when a blue-shirted sales associate slides up and lowers their voice. They lean in and say, you know, OLED sets are gorgeous, but they can get burn-in. Permanent. Like your news ticker could haunt you forever. Suddenly that crisp OLED demo starts to look less like a home theater dream and more like a financial time bomb. But here is what rarely gets mentioned. Actual burn-in on modern OLED sets is about as common as a perfect bracket in March Madness. After thousands of hours of stress testing, independent reviewers estimate less than 1% of typical users ever see any visible burn-in. And that is with pretty extreme use. Today's OLED sets have more protection features than a Vegas casino. Auto refresh cycles, pixel shifting, logo dimming, the works. Unless you are running CNN on loop 24/7, your chances of ghostly images are slim to none. Very rare. Meanwhile, QLED sets are not immune to their own issues. Think backlight failures and uneven lighting, but somehow those problems never come up in the pitch. The burn-in warning is a classic sales lever, designed to nudge you away from OLED and straight into the arms of a higher margin QLED. Fear sells, especially when it is dressed up as friendly advice. Boxes lined up on the shelf scream for attention. Spec soup. Words like HDR 4000, Ultramotion 240Hz, 8K, AI upscaling, and quantum stare at you in bold metallic letters. Even a NASA engineer would squint. Each number and acronym promises a future-proof living room and a ticket to picture paradise. But here is the catch. Most of these specs matter to your real viewing experience about as much as the sticker on a banana. HDR 4000 is not 4,000 times better than HDR 1000. It is just a brightness rating, one you will rarely ever use at home unless you enjoy watching television with sunglasses on. 8K. AI upscaling sounds impressive, but unless you sit nose to screen or stream rare 8K content, it is mostly a numbers game. Quantum is marketing shorthand for quantum dots. A filter trick, not a revolution. And Ultramotion 240Hz. The actual refresh rate is almost never what is on the box. It is a software illusion. This avalanche of specs is not about helping you choose the right television. It is about overwhelming you, so you focus on the flashiest box, not the best picture. By the time you have decoded the buzzwords, you have forgotten why you came into the store. And that is exactly how the industry likes it. Ever notice how some TVs at Best Buy have model numbers that do not show up anywhere else? You think you are comparing apples to apples, but there is always a secret letter or two tacked onto the end. QN90B turns into QN90BA, and suddenly Google draws a blank. That is not a typo, it is retail sleight of hand. These exclusive SKUs are designed to keep you from price matching with Amazon or Walmart. Try to find a deal on that QN90BA. Good luck. It exists only at Best Buy and only on their terms. Here is the kicker. Sometimes these models look identical to their mainstream cousins, but a teardown might reveal a missing HDMI port, a weaker speaker setup, or a cheaper stand. Not always, but often enough to make you wonder what else is hiding behind the barcode. Tech forums are filled with buyers who got home, opened the box, and realized their exclusive TV had a few less bells and whistles than the one they researched online. The differences might be small, but the confusion is the point. If you cannot compare, you cannot bargain. And if the model code is a moving target, Best Buy controls the price game from start to finish. Welcome to the final layer of the sales maze, the one designed to keep you guessing and keep the cash flowing right where the retailer wants it. A tech reviewer stands between two screens, remote in hand, ready to put the marketing to the test. On the left, a top-tier QLED. On the right, an OLED panel powered up and waiting. The room dims, a pitch-black movie scene rolls. On the QLED, a faint glow leaks around the edges, grayish blacks, halos around streetlights, colors fighting to pop through the haze. On the OLED, darkness swallows the screen, not a hint of backlight. When a single candle flickers to life, it floats in perfect black, the flame sharp and pure. This is not just a trick of the eyes. It is the result of each pixel either lighting up or shutting off on command. Infinite contrast, a ratio measured in the lab that no QLED can touch. The reviewer flips to a fast-paced chase scene. Motion blur? The OLED pixels respond in under 1 millisecond. Cars whip across the screen without a ghostly trail. QLED tries to keep up, but the action leaves a faint blur, especially in the shadows. Gamers and movie buffs notice it right away. On OLED, motion is razor sharp, every frame crisp, no matter how fast things move. Next, a splash of color, a neon sign, a deep red sunset. OLED colors stay rich even in the darkest parts of the image. No washed out reds, no muddy blues. The reviewer checks the numbers. Under 1 millisecond response time, infinite contrast, perfect black. The QLED numbers look good on the box, but side by side the difference is night and day. For anyone chasing the ultimate movie night or gaming experience, the winner is obvious. OLED does not just compete, it dominates where it matters most. Sunlight pours through the living room windows, bouncing straight off the glossy screen. For some buyers, that is the nightmare scenario. That is where QLED steps into the spotlight. QLED TVs are built for rooms that never seem to get dark. Their secret weapon is sheer, blinding brightness. Top QLED models routinely break 1,500 to 2,000 nits, with Samsung and TCL even pushing past 2,500 in flagship sets. That is not just a number on the spec sheet. It means sports look crisp even at noon. Cartoons do not wash out on a Saturday morning, and nobody is squinting to spot the hero in the shadows during a sunny afternoon movie. QLED also comes in every size and price. Need a 43-inch for the kitchen? A 98-inch for the world's bravest rec room? QLED covers the spread, and the shelves at Best Buy are stacked accordingly. OLEDs are catching up, but QLED still wins the numbers game, from budget models to the behemoths. There is a reason sports bars, waiting rooms, and open-plan homes lean QLED. The panels shrug off glare, pump out vibrant color, and do not flinch if you leave the news on all day. For shoppers who want a TV that works everywhere, not just in the dark, QLEDs have brute force brightness and variety that makes sense. It is not about chasing the deepest black or the last drop of cinematic magic. It is about a screen that stays visible, no matter what the sun throws at it. For the bright room crowd, QLED is not just a marketing trick. It is the practical choice, and Best Buy knows exactly who is coming in to buy it. QLED's real superpower isn't hidden inside the screen, it's hiding in the warehouse. Retailers like Best Buy love QLED because it fits the definition of a safe bet. Every year, Samsung and its rivals crank out millions of QLED televisions. 9.5 million shipped worldwide in 2023 alone, more than double OLED's volume. That means pallets of QLEDs roll in by the truckload, ready to fill every inch of shelf space. Inventory managers can breathe easy, knowing there is always another shipment on the way, and sales teams never have to explain why the featured model is missing in action. OLED, on the other hand, is the problem child of the stockroom. LG Display's factories cannot match QLED's output, so stores get fewer units less often and sometimes have to ration which locations even get a display model. For a retailer, that is a headache. Empty shelves, awkward conversations, and missed sales targets. QLED's predictable supply means smoother turnover. No guessing games, just steady shipments and reliable floor displays. That is why when you walk into Best Buy, QLEDs flood the aisles and OLEDs huddle in the corner. The math is simple: more QLEDs in stock, faster restocks, and a sales floor that is always ready for the next big weekend rush. Retailers are not just selling televisions, they are moving boxes, and QLED is the box that never runs dry. As OLED production ramps up, this supply gap is slowly closing. But for now, logistics, not just technology, decide what gets the spotlight. OLED's days as the rare, high-priced unicorn on the sales floor are numbered. Over the past 3 years, LG Display and its rivals have poured billions into new factories, boosting OLED panel output and driving prices down. In 2023 alone, global OLED TV shipments climbed to nearly 4 million units, a record, but still less than half of QLED's 9.5 million. That gap is closing, and fast. Newer OLED lines in China and South Korea are churning out panels with higher yields and fewer defects, which means the once sky-high sticker price is quietly dropping. The old story, OLEDs only for home theater diehards with deep pockets, is fading out. LG's C-Series, once a luxury, now lands in the same price bracket as mid-tier QLEDs during big sales. Sony and even Samsung are rolling out their own OLEDs, betting that mainstream shoppers are finally ready for perfect blacks and pixel-level contrast. Retailers are starting to notice. More OLEDs are showing up in weekly ads, and shelf space that once belonged to QLED alone is starting to shrink. The supply problem that kept OLEDs in the shadows is fading, and the next few years could see the balance of power shift. For the first time, it is not just the tech that is changing, it is who gets to bring it home. Right now, TV aisles are battlegrounds of branding, not clarity. As OLED prices drop and QLED sales tactics evolve, the real advantage belongs to shoppers who question what's on the box and who profits from your choice. In a world where specs blur the truth, only skepticism guarantees you see what's really on the screen.